Welcome back to the video. Today we are back for another game pick video, and so we're gonna waste no time getting into this because there's a lot of good games to talk about. Big week of football ahead, but before we do, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel because it does really help me promote the channel itself and my content, and that way you also don't miss any of my videos. And if you're new around here, we cover NFL content like this game picks. We're gonna do award predictions here pretty soon since we're entering the second half of the year. We'll do playoff predictions whenever that comes around, any injury news, all that kind of stuff. And then also we do Madden videos where we have a No Money Spent series going on. We cover new content on there, and we do gameplays and all that type of stuff. So if any of that interests you, make sure you guys are subscribed to the channel. I'd also like to say at the time of recording this, we're up to I think 120 subscribers. And I've gone up a lot in the past month or so. So thank you guys for all that. I do really appreciate it. And I'm glad you guys are enjoying the videos. And now into the game pick. So for the Thursday night game, which at the time of this being uploaded, it should be right as the game is coming on. If I'm not mistaken, it might be a little after. Either way, though, I'm not picking the Falcons. I'm picking my Panthers. We should have won the first time, to be perfectly honest. I think the penalty on DJ Moore was ridiculous. I don't think it was really his fault, honestly. And we had two chances to win the game after that anyway, and we just could not finish the game. So I don't think it's going to go that way at all this time because it's going to be very, very rainy. So it should be a lot more on the ground for both teams and probably more slow-paced, especially since both teams are pretty bad. So I'm going to pick the Panthers. I think that D'Onta Foreman had a great game against the Falcons last time, and this time he should be getting the same, if not even more touches. So I am picking the Panthers in this. The next game, which I believe is the first game we played in Germany, is going to be 9:30 a.m. Sunday, and it is the Seahawks and Buccaneers. I'm picking the Seahawks in this. I really like the Seahawks this year. I think they are honestly a really good team. I mean, at first it was really funny. I think I say this every week, but at first I think it was really funny because people were like, oh my gosh, Geno Smith is playing so well. But like, it's for real. Like, Geno Smith is really playing so well. The Seahawks have some great rookie corners within Kobe Bryant and Tyreek Woolen. Kenneth Walker, obviously the rookie running back, is just so good. They still have Metcalf. They still have Lockett. It is a bummer Rashad Penny got hurt because he was doing well, and like I know Kenneth Walker's doing great, but you never really want to see anybody injured. And plus, two of those type of running backs would have been great for him. But either way, it looks like they're doing just fine. The Buccaneers, they just have not been able to get in sync. They did beat the Rams and came back, which was nice. But their wins have not been pretty wins, and their losses have been pretty bad losses. Like when they lose, they do not play well at all. So I'm picking the Seahawks in this, and the Buccaneers, maybe they'll get things back on track, but if they do, I don't think it's going to come against the Seahawks. And the next game, which I'm going to say is probably game of the week, at least in my opinion, the Seahawks, the Vikings, and the Bills. I'm picking the Vikings, and the only reason for this is that the Bills quarterback, Josh Allen, is dealing with an elbow like sprain or strain or something like that. I know it's his UCL. Luckily, it's not torn or needs surgery or anything, which would have been way worse. But that still is going to impact his playing a lot. And if that means they can't pass the ball as much, I don't think they're going to do much on offense, or at least as much on offense. And if they are going to pass the ball a lot, then how is Josh Allen going to be playing? Is he going to be playing well? Because a couple of his interceptions with the Jets were really, really bad decisions. It wasn't even like it was a great interception. It was just a really bad throw. Credit to the Jets' defense still, but yeah, so I'm picking the Vikings in this. I mean, the offense for the Vikings is just so good. They got Hawkinson, who played great in his first game after only knowing the offense for like 4 days. They have Justin Jefferson. They have Adam Thielen. They have Dalvin Cook. They have Alexander Madison. They have a very, very firepowered offense. And their only loss, remember, is to the Eagles with Primetime Kirk, who's like one of the worst NFL players of all time. So they're only lost to an undefeated team. I like the Vikings in this game, and I'm picking them over the Bills. Next is Lions and Bears, and this should be a fun game to watch because Justin Fields is playing great. And I feel very bad for him because I feel like he would have been in a bad situation regardless. And the reason I say that is way back whenever he got drafted 2 years ago, whatever it was, 2 years ago, the Panthers could have chosen him and didn't. They picked J.C. Horn. And if the Panthers had picked him, it would have probably been worse for him because they had no offensive line that year. They had just DJ Moore as their best receiver because Rob Anderson's not that good, let's be real. And he would have had Matt Rule as his coach. It would have been a horrible situation for him. Instead, he goes to Chicago. Again, not a good situation for him. The Patriots probably would have been his best bet, but I personally don't think he would have fit their system very well because Cam Newton didn't fit their system very well. And I'd say Justin Fields is more like Cam Newton than he is with like Tom Brady as far as play styles. So I feel like Fields would have the odds stacked against him wherever he went to a team that needed a quarterback. So I think now that he's finally coming to his own, the team is really starting to kind of get it together. Now we're seeing what he can be, and it's really cool because he's a great player. So I'm picking them over the Lions. He just set the single game rushing yard record, which isn't going to be a weekly thing, I mean, But regardless, he threw for 3 touchdowns last week, too. I feel like people don't say that, but he threw for 3 touchdowns. So Justin Fields can throw the ball. And when he does, he's throwing to like Twitch streamers. So if he gets some real receivers out here, he's going to be very good. He's playing good right now. The Lions are just a little inconsistent. I feel like they might be slightly better than what their record shows, maybe like 3-5. I wouldn't say they're probably 4-4. But I'm picking the Bears. The Lions are fun to watch too, but I think the Bears are the better team, just by a little bit. Next is Broncos and Titans. This game is going to be really boring in my opinion because I think both teams are very boring to watch. Derrick Henry's great, and that's like the only exciting player between the two teams, in my opinion. And Russell Wilson plays terrible, or at least he has been. Courtland Sutton isn't even getting involved very much. So I'm picking the Titans in this game, but I mean, I think it's going to be pretty boring. Next is Chiefs and Jaguars, and speaking of boring, this is probably going to be a blowout. I don't think the Jaguars are going to really be able to compete that much with the Chiefs. I think the Chiefs' offense is way too fast. So I'm picking the Chiefs. Not much more to say about that one. Browns and Dolphins, this one's actually an interesting one because I do think the Dolphins will win this, and I am going to pick the Dolphins. But I do want to see how Nick Chubb plays against this Dolphins defense because the Dolphins defense is solid, and they just got Bradley Chubb. So, he's playing against his brother. Should be kind of cool. I want to see how he does. But I'm picking the Dolphins. I think they're the much better team. Their offense is better. Their receivers should have a pretty good day against the Browns secondary, so I'm going with the Dolphins. Next is Giants and Texans. Again, not one to talk too much about. The Texans are awful, and the Giants are pretty good, so I'm picking the Giants. There's not much more to say other than that. Saquon's great, and then even, Danny Dimes, Daniel Jones out here. He's playing pretty well, too. Texans, they don't really have much of anything going. Dameon Pierce is kind of the highlight of that team, and he is very good, and he will be very good in the coming years as well. So that's a bit of a bright spot, but other than that, not a whole lot going on, so I'm picking the Giants. Next is the Saints and Steelers. I'm going to pick the Saints in this game. I feel like this will actually be a pretty competitive game, and it is an important one because second half of the season, if you're 3-6 or 2-6, you need to start getting wins on the board. Like this loss could kind of signal the downfall for each respective team's kind of rest of their year. So this is a big game. I'm going to pick the Saints in the game because I think they are a bit better than the Steelers. Until the Steelers really have a full offseason with like Pickett kind of going through everything with like, getting all first team reps, all that experience under his belt through his first year, I don't think they're going to do much the rest of the year. Najee Harris not playing well. I'm not sure what's up with that. I'm not sure if that's just the offensive play calling or what that is. But I do think the Saints are the slightly better team, and so I will pick the Saints in this game. And then next is the Colts and Raiders. Again, I don't think this game really matters much because the Raiders division is way too tough for them to make the playoffs at this point. And the Colts, while they're in second place, I don't think they're really going to make the playoffs just because any other team that's going to be a wild card team is going to have a better record than them. And the Colts are just really struggling. Got Sam Ehlinger in there. Jonathan Taylor has not been that great this year, at least not to the expectations. So I'm going to pick the Raiders, but only because I feel like the Colts are the more dysfunctional team, if that makes sense. And then next to the Cardinals and Rams, it's usually always a fun game to watch. I'm going to pick the Rams in this game, though, because the Cardinals look like they're just so out of sync. Hopkins is back, but really even with them, they've been good, but they just have not really played to as good as their roster would allow them to. I think if I phrase that correctly, like if looking at their team, you think their record would be way better than 3-6, and maybe they'll get it going the second half of the year. Maybe it's like reverse of all the other years because usually they play great for like the first half and then crumble. Maybe they're going to start out terrible and then second half of the season, now that we're in that part, they'll play great. I don't know. But for this game, I don't think they're beating the Rams, so I am going to pick the Rams. Assuming Matthew Stafford plays, though, because I know he is in concussion protocol and he has missed 2 practices now. Although I feel like for some reason he's going to end up playing. So if that's the case, I'm picking the Rams. If he doesn't play, then honestly, Cardinals, but I can't switch it. So I'm picking the Rams. And then next is the Cowboys and Packers. I'm picking the Cowboys. I don't think there's a lot to say about this. The Cowboys defense is great, and the Packers offense is terrible. I think it really comes down to that. It's just Rodgers is not playing well, and the Cowboys defense is playing like championship level, in my opinion. Like Micah Parsons is just incredible. I cannot believe it's only his second year. So I'm picking the Cowboys in that one. And then the night game is the Chargers and 49ers. This looks like a really fun game. I'm not sure why, but I thought this would be like a very, very fun game to watch. I am going to pick the 49ers because I feel like the Chargers, something just isn't there. I mean, they are 5-3, which is a great record. Don't get me wrong. But when you watch them, sometimes it looks like they're just not on the same page. I know they have a lot of injuries, so I'm not just going to like bash them or Justin Herbert because they have a lot of injuries on their team. So I'm going to pick the 49ers. McCaffrey is now, I think, really in the system, and he's really starting to flourish, as last week he had like a passing touchdown, receiving touchdown, and a rushing touchdown. So I'm picking the 49ers in that game. I think it'll be very close and probably high scoring, one of those like 33 to 30 type games. And then for Monday night, which is really unfortunate, it's the Eagles and Commanders, which I'm picking the Eagles. I don't think it's going to be much of a game. The Eagles are by far the better team. Washington, while they went on a bit of a win streak, they did lose last week, and they've just kind of struggled all around, while the Eagles have, well, not struggled very much. So I am going to pick the Eagles in this game, so is what it is. But guys, that's going to do it for the video. If you did enjoy, be sure to leave a like and subscribe button. Comment down below any games you think I got right or any games you think I may have got wrong. If I didn't pick your team, I'm sure, you probably think I'm wrong, but that's fine. But yeah, make sure you subscribe to my videos, whether it be NFL or Madden, and I will see you in the next one. Peace out.